Hi, everyone. So this week we are talking about one of the subjects that we're talking about is entrepreneurship and starting a business. So I just really wanted to do a quick micro lecture on entrepreneurship because it's just a really great field to go into. If you do decide that you want to be an entrepreneur, there's pitfalls, there's great things about it, total control over your business, um, total control over your lifestyle. You can earn endless amounts of money. You have more of that sense of control when it comes to your lifestyle, your career, your goals, the amount of money that you make. But there's also pitfalls to it because you have to be a risk taker. And that means, going on your own with, retirement. How are you going to save for your retirement? Health insurance, is that going to be a concern? You're going to have to go outside and get your own health insurance as opposed to getting it when you work for a company, or retirement that you get when you work for a company. So there's no 401k when you're starting your own business as an entrepreneur. So there's things you just kind of have to weigh. But I do want to tell you that 90% of all millionaires are first generation, which means they created a business and made it successful on their own. In fact, 27 million working age Americans are starting or running a new business. So the past 2 decades have shown a heightened interest in entrepreneurial careers. So, why do people choose to become entrepreneurs? Well, people choose to become entrepreneurs because maybe they're dissatisfied with their traditional job, or to fill a gap in goods and services that they could use themselves, or financial necessity, or heightened publicity, surrounding other entrepreneurs. Hey, if they can do it, I can do it. Reasons like that create that urge to become an entrepreneur. It's the freedom to make your own decisions because you're self-management. So you are in charge. You're in charge of your workday. You're in charge of the amount of time that you put in. You're in charge of what you're doing during the workday. Being first to bring an idea for a superior product to market can translate to financial gains as creators of something that is going to generate wealth. Are you a Jeff Bezos? Can you bring to light? I mean, Amazon. Amazon is a fairly new concept. And look at how much we love Amazon. So there was this emptiness in the market for a product idea like that, or for a service idea like that has been filled. And a lot of other companies are following suit. So it's not just Amazon that will deliver. Now, a lot of different companies will deliver. And at the very least, if you're in a hurry and you don't want to go into a store, you can pull up out front and they will, you just let them know that you're there, and they will put the, products in your car. So this is all a fairly new concept. Working for a large company does not guarantee security. And freedom to decide when, where, and how to work is not something that we have when we work for someone else. It's only when we work for ourselves a lot of times that we have that kind of freedom. The other thing too that I mentioned earlier is a lot of people start a business because they see that there's nothing in the current marketplace like this product or service. They see that there is this void in the marketplace for what it is that they have to offer. So a lot of times it's introducing a new product or service that has not previously been introduced, or it is learning from the current marketplace and redefining a product or service that has already been produced that is successful. So you don't have to invent the hamburger you don't have to reinvent the hamburger in order to get rich. You just have to bring something else of value to the marketplace. There's more than one pizza place out there. So it doesn't have to be a unique idea. You might be just building on an idea that is already successful. So, the environment for entrepreneurs, a lot of companies now, or I'm sorry, a lot of universities now are offering classes in entrepreneurship. In fact, there's now entrepreneurship majors. Universities are helping students to launch businesses. And especially like I teach small business management here at the college. So a lot of classes in college are giving you, the insight in order to start your own business. Information technology. So because of information technology, it has provided entrepreneurs tools to compete. So you don't have to have a brick and mortar store. You can just have, a website that people can go to in order to find out about your product or service. So entrepreneurs have used IT to revolutionize the industry. So there's a lot of great things about starting your own business. So if that is something that you would want to do or something that you're thinking about doing, I think it's fabulous. I think it's a great opportunity. Why not? Why couldn't you be the next Jeff Bezos? Okay, so I just want to do a little mini micro lecture over entrepreneurship. I am here. You all have my number if you have any questions or concerns, and keep up the great work.